You know what I want to talk about is I kind of got reminded by this randomly because you were talking about the car situation. Is the first time I was ever arrested and put into the back of a cop car.
I didn't know you were put into the back.
I've been in the back of a cop car twice. And the first time was when I was like 11 years old.
What?
Yeah. And it was such bullshit. Like,
why?
So there's these two parks that are right next to, right down the street from my parents' house where I grew up, my parents' apartment where I grew up. There's Plummer Park and there's Poinsettia Park, right? And I remember we would go to Poinsettia Park to play basketball because they had all these basketball courts. And then my sisters were on this basketball team, and they would always go to Poinsettia Park to practice. So whenever my sisters would go to practice, I would go with my sisters to go play on the playground or just like hang out in the park and do random shit. And then one day I was already kind of like a hoodlum where there was this guy called Coach Lou who was like kind of maintaining the whole gym area. And he would always like be like, Yuri, why are you doing this? Yuri, why are you doing that? Just getting mad at me for all of this stupid shit I was doing. And I was already kind of like known as like a little hoodlum in this park. Not hoodlum, but just like kid who did stupid random shit. And one day I'm like, my sisters are fucking practicing. They're doing their own thing. And I'm just like walking around the park doing my own thing, like fucking around. And then a cop car just fucking pulls up into the park. And then these cop cars already from the seat that they're driving in, they're like talking to each other, pointing at me. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm just like walking, like minding my own business. I'm like literally like 11 years old. Then they fucking pull up right next to me inside the park. So they already drove inside the park. They pull up next to me inside the park. Both get out. They're like, you get like stay right there. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what's going on? They're like, that's him. That's the kid or whatever. They fucking put handcuffs on me. I'm like, what the fuck? They throw me in the back of a cop car. I think I'm crying at this point. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the fuck is going on, right?
You're so little.
Yeah, I'm like a tiny little kid. And then these cop cars are like, we're calling the guy over. And then this fucking they bring this like old ass man over. Like some guy's like helping this old man over. And this old man's like, he's like, this kid stole my wheelchair. And then the old man looks inside the cop car, looks at me. He's like, that's him. He's like, he stole my wheelchair. I'm like, I didn't steal anyone's fucking wheelchair. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like scared. Like, I'm like, what the hell? I'm like waiting for my sisters to come so they can explain like what the hell happened. And then randomly these two twins, I forgot their names, but these two like twin boys who are like a couple years older than me, they walk by, and then the old man who already fucking said I did it turns around and goes, no. He goes, those are the kids who stole my, and they had the wheelchair with them.
Wow.
They were fucking around the wheelchair. And then apparently
you're like traumatized in the back.
And then apparently these two like twin boys or whatever fucking like pushed this old man out of his wheelchair, took his wheelchair and went to go play with it and like fuck around with it. And then the dude said it was me.
What dicks?
And they threw me in the back of the cop car and fucking like
those kids are dicks.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know who the hell those kids were, and they were pinning it all on me. And I was like,
wow.
I was like shitting bricks. I was like so terrified.
Damn.
And then luckily those kids walked by and I was fucking perfectly fine.
Wow.
But I was like, bruh, really?
That's fucked up, babe.
I always got the short end of the stick, even when I was a kid.
Wait, what was the other time you got?
Okay, so I feel like this is it's kind of a learning tale for anyone around the age of like just starting to learn how to drive. But I also have to say ahead of the time, do not smoke and drive ever. It is a terrible idea. You're gonna get in a car crash. Stop reading the chat, babe.
Sorry, people are being rude.
No, just stop reading the chat.
Okay.
It doesn't help to read it. Okay, here you go. Here's your shot. Just pay attention. All right.
Thank you for everybody who's being sweet.
What are we cheersing to? You choose the cheers. Oh, I know you. I don't know. You choose the best ones usually.
Cheers to a great Sunday night.
I forgot it's Sunday, but cheers. You're right.
Cheers, everybody.
Stop.
What?
I'm gonna put the chat away if you keep reading it.
Yeah, put it away.
Really? Okay, here
Just
we go.
put it away.
I put the chat
away.
away.
Look at it.
All right. So the second time I got arrested, one time.
Yeah, what the fuck? I've never heard this story.
I told you before. I think as I'm gonna explain it, you're gonna be like, oh, I think I heard this before. But basically,
wait, was this in Santa Barbara?
No. Thank God it's not gonna rest in Santa Barbara. But anyways, one time, me and my homies, like I told you, my our favorite things to do back in the day was to go to the hills and smoke, right? But we would always come out of the car to go smoke and then come back into the car. And then this one random day, one of my homies picks me up. So just me and my homie. I'm not gonna say any names. So me and my homie, we drive up to the hills. And then this one random day, he was always super strict about not smoking in his car. And then this one random day, he's like, yo, let's hotbox my car. I'm like, sweet. I brought 2 blunts with me. And we hotbox both the blunts. We like smoke and shit. We chill for a little bit, and then we start driving home. Or like he's gonna drop me off, and then he's gonna drive home. So then we're driving down Sunset Boulevard, and he has his windows open. And then I didn't know, but he had one of his taillights out. They weren't working. And then we get pulled over by a sheriff.
Oh my god.
And we literally like 10 minutes prior had just hotboxed 2 blunts with the windows closed.
This is my worst
So
nightmare.
the car stinks like fucking weed. And then the fucking sheriff like opens the, comes to the window, and he's like, it stinks like weed. He's like, who's smoking? And then we've already dealt with cops so many times as skateboarders, so I already know what to do. So I was like, hey, I'm like, my buddy here doesn't smoke. I'm like, I smoke. I was like, he literally just picked me up from my house, and I just smoked the blunt. Like, you're smelling me right now. Like, he doesn't smoke weed at all. And he's just like, he's like, what? He's like, no. He's like, come on, guys. He's like, I'm cool, guys. He's like, I'm a cool cop. He's like, I'm not tripping. He's like, I'm not trying to he's like, I'm not trying to get no one in trouble here. He's like, just let me know you guys smoked, and I'll let you guys go, And then we were like, no. We were like, dude, we're telling you the truth. My friend here doesn't smoke. I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm like, dude, like, I smoked the blunt. He doesn't smoke, and that's why you smell the weed. And then he's like, nah, dude. He's like, you guys are lying to me. He's like, I'm telling you guys. He's like, I just want you guys to be truthful with me, and I'll let you guys go. But why does he want us to admit that my friend smoked weed just so he can let us go? That doesn't make sense. He obviously wants us to admit it so he can fucking book my friend or whatever. So he's like,
it's that power trip.
So he's like, step out. Oh my god, I forgot to say. So there's just to give, before I continue telling the story, just to give a little backstory on what happened that night. Before me and my homie hotboxed, he didn't just pick me up from my house. Before me and my homie hotboxed 2 blunts, there's this one skate spot in the hills somewhere that we wanted to skate, and we've been there before. But these dudes came and they like cemented down these like bricks so that you can't skate it anymore. And then we realized that they did a shitty job cementing it, and all you had to do is come with sledgehammers and just fucking sledge it away, and then you can break the bricks off. So me and my homie meet up like at like midnight to go to the skate spot to fucking sledgehammer this spot so we can skate it like the next day or some shit, right? And then we put the sledgehammer and all these other construction tools that are covered in dust in his trunk, and then we fucking go hotbox these 2 blunts, and then we start driving home.
Oh my god!
And then the cop fucking pulls us over. We start telling him the story about how I am the one who smoked. My friend didn't smoke. The cop was like, I don't believe you guys. He's like, step out the car. Puts us both in handcuffs. Puts us in the back of his cop car. And then I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like talking to my homie, and I'm like telling him, I'm like, dude, like, all we have to do is like stick to our story, and he can't prove shit. Like, he can't just be like, you're intoxicated. Like, all you have is a broken taillight. So we're sitting in the back of his cop car while he starts searching my homie's car, because he's like starts going through looking for weed. We smoked everything, and there's nothing in the car that's like there's no weed or like resin or roaches or nothing. Can't find anything like that. But he opens up the trunk, sees a sledgehammer, sees all these tools.
Like, these people are fucking murderers in here.
He sees all these tools covered in fucking dust, and he sees we're all covered in dust too. And then he's like, comes back to us. He's like, what's up with the sledgehammers? And then my homie, I didn't even think of this, but my homie quickly goes, we're construction workers. We work construction with our dads, like blah blah. He's like, we just came from our jobs earlier. And then he was going along with that story, and I was like, yes. I was like, this is fucking perfect. Like, this whole fucking construction story. Oh no, he said he worked construction. Those were his tools. And then so that was going on. The cop believed that. He kept searching the car, didn't find any weed.
Damn, this is a crazy night.
The cop literally for another 30 minutes kept coming back and forth from his car to the back of the cop car, going, come on guys, just make it easy, just say you smoked the weed so I can let you guys go. And we're like still sticking to the story that I'm the only one who smoked weed. And then guess what, after like an hour of fucking with us, he can't prove shit, so he ended up just giving my homie like a fix-it ticket for his taillight and let us go. So
wait, why were you handcuffed?
Because he was searching the car. That's why. They have to do that while because we could just run away or some shit apparently. But it's like that just proves. And also I've heard many times before from my other friends that like cops, this is so much fucking information for like criminals, but like cops, if they're investigating you, like for something serious, they're more like legally they can only hold you for 72 hours for questioning and shit for something. But like cops will like literally pick you up on a Thursday or Friday night so that they can, and the weekend apparently doesn't count, so they can hold you like Friday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, or even like, you know, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They hold you for a long ass time.
For office hours.
Yeah, exactly. And then that whole time they're holding you, they're like telling you like, Riley, like Yuriy already snitched on you. Yuriy said you did everything. Just tell us the truth. Blah blah. They'll be lying to you for like 5 days, and then basically I've been told by many friends that like all you have to do is stay strong. Be like, I'm not saying anything until I see my lawyer.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say, I'm not saying anything until I see my lawyer. No matter what they say, even if they say like, dude, Riley.
It's like that tactic is good if the person is really accused for the crime they committed, but it could really fuck with somebody who is innocent but is just like going crazy because they're trapped in the cell for so long. So it's like, fuck. And it's good on one end, but then it's also like dangerous on another end where it's like you're fucking with other people's lives.
On top of that, even if you are innocent, and then imagine they hold you Friday, Monday, Saturday,
exactly.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then in your
crazy.
head you're like, I have to go to work, I have to tell my parents what happened, I have to tell my friends what happened.
Like, I have to keep repeating the story 17
Exactly.
times.
And then by the time you get to the last day, you almost, even if you're innocent, you almost sometimes want to be like, dude, I fucking did it, just let me out. And they're like, boom, you're in jail for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. So I've been told many times that you gotta like just don't say shit.